I hate having my hair cut, don't you? I think I'd rather go to the dentist.
I'll bet you wouldn't.
I don't know why it is, but the hair always seems to go down the back of one's neck. Never fails. How much did you say?
3 bob, please, sir.
Elvindale seems a very nice place. Do you live here?
Yes, sir. Well, just outside.
First time you've been to Elvindale?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's funny, sir. I thought I'd seen you before.
Oh, well, I know Calford and Lenton pretty well.
Oh, no, that's a pretty little place.
Yes, I have a cottage at Lenton.
What is Lenton? About 17 miles from here?
No, it's more than that. Must be all at 24 or 5.
Never.
It is, you know.
It's 15 miles from our place.
Only 15, are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive, Mr. Jackson. There's a sign just past our garage.
For heaven's sake, Peter, get a move on. We haven't got all morning.
Good morning, Miss Antrobus.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. How much do we owe you?
Don't worry about that, miss. I'll charge it.
Right. You know what Father said. We've got to be back by 11:30.
Don't fuss, Mary. We've got bags of time.
We haven't got bags of time. It's all right for you. You're on holiday.
I'm awfully sorry. I'm afraid it's my fault. I kept him talking.
Oh, that's all right. But I know what Peter is. Once he starts nattering, you can never stop him. Go on, Peter.
Bye, Mr. Duncan.
Goodbye, Peter. Goodbye, Miss Antrobus. Remember me to your father.
How much did you say?
3 shillings.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you. Who is that chap?
Don't you know? Miss Antrobus recognised him.
Yes, I could see that, but who is he?
There he is.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Foster. I didn't recognize you.
You recognized me the other day, the last time we met. In fact, you made quite a point of it. Now, don't go, Miss Dean. Is Dr. Swanley with you?
No, I'm visiting my mother. She lives in Elvindale.
Oh, I see. Why did you tell Inspector Carter that we'd met before?
Why? Because he asked me if I'd ever seen you before, that's why.
You said that I'd consulted Dr. Swanley. In fact, you said that you yourself had shown me into his consulting.
That's right.
But it isn't true. You know it isn't true.
Mr. Foster, you've been through a great deal just recently, and I feel sorry for you, very sorry. But when I asked a
I don't want you to
perfectly
feel sorry for
straightforward
me, Miss Dean. I just want you to tell me the truth.
question, but I've told the truth. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Miss Dean, please, don't go. Wait, just a second.
Well, what is it?
I apologize. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lost my temper like that. I'm very sorry.
That's all right, Mr. Foster. I understand.
You think I'm lying about all this, don't you?
No, I don't think you're lying. At least not deliberately. I just think that you've been ill, and this business with your wife has been too much for you.
You mean you think it's affected my memory?
Yes. But remember, I'm not a doctor, Mr. Foster, or a police inspector. I'm just a secretary.
Constable. Was that Miss Harris you waved to?
No, sir, that was Miss Antrobus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Antrobus. It's a very unusual name. Is it fairly common in these parts?
No, I don't think so. There's only the one family, so far as I know. The father owns a garage, the big one just before you get into the village.
Miss Antrobus, may I have a word with you?
What is it you want? Well, what is it?
Oh, I beg your pardon. My name is Foster, Guy Foster.
Yes, I know. I recognized you this morning. I've seen your photograph in the papers. You're the man whose wife was murdered.
Yes. And it's because of that I'm trying to find out certain things about my wife. I think you might be able to help me.
How can I help you?
Melissa, my wife, was very friendly with someone called Peter Antrobus, and I was wondering if...
Antrobus? Well, that's my brother. He's still at school. You spoke to him in Duncan's.
Yes, I know, and that's why I wanted to talk to you. Have you a relative in Elvingdale, or do you know of anybody with the same name as your brother?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Are you quite sure?
Yes, of course I'm sure. Well, I don't know anyone else called Antrobus, apart from my father, of course. But what makes you think your wife was friendly with a man called Peter Antrobus?
She left me a letter. The name was mentioned in it.
I see. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Foster. I'm afraid I can't help you. I never met your wife, and well, I'm quite sure Peter didn't.
And you haven't even heard of anybody with the same name as your brother?
No, I've already told you that.
Oh, by the way, I bumped into someone called Joyce Dean just now. Apparently she used to live down here. Her mother still does.
Well?
I just wondered if you knew her.
Why should I know her?
Oh, no particular reason, except that Elvingdale is a very small place, and I just wondered if you did.
Is she a friend of yours?
No, not exactly.
Well, then why are you interested in her?
She made a statement to the police. A false statement, I'm afraid.
About your wife?
No. About me.
What did you say her name was? Joyce?
Dean? She's a nurse.
Funnily enough, I do know her. At least I've met her. I don't know anything about her, though. She used to work in the local hospital. I think she left there about a year ago.
She works for a man called Swanley now.
Swanley? I've never heard of him.
He's a doctor.
In London?
Yes, in Devonshire Place.
Oh, some people have all the luck. I wish to goodness I worked in London.
You probably wouldn't like it if you did, particularly in the summer.
What summer?
Well, thank you, Miss Antrobus.
I'm sorry I can't help you.
But at least you tried.
Oh, hello, Guy. Come on in.
Have I interrupted your dinner?
No, I was just expecting some friends, that's all.
Well, I wanted a word with you, Don.
Well, go on in. Will you have a drink?
Yes, I'd like a whiskey, please.
Right.
You having a party?
No, just expecting a few friends.
I've just got back from a place called Elvingdale.
Oh.
Do you know it?
In Kent?
Yes.
Well, I've driven through it once or twice, never actually stopped there. Soda?
Yes, please. Somebody broke into my flat the other night and left a note. In the note it said that I'd find Peter Antrobus at Elvingdale. That's why I went down there.
Peter Antrobus?
Yeah.
The man Melissa mentioned.
That's right.
And was he at Elvingdale?
Well, there was a Peter Antrobus down there, but I very much doubt whether he was ever a friend of Melissa's. He's 12 years old and he's still at school.
Maybe it's his father you should be interested in. Perhaps he's called Peter, too.
No, his name's George. He's a widower. He keeps a garage. I thought perhaps you might have met him, Don.
Why do you say that?
Because they've got a signed photograph of you in the office in racing kit.
Oh, I see.
The daughter, Mary, she's rather a strange girl, but she's very attractive, about 22, 23.
Afraid I've never met either of them.
Oh. Well, I just wondered.
Because of the photograph?
Yes.
I've signed hundreds of those things, Guy. They're all over the place. I'm glad you dropped in this evening, Guy, because there's something I've been wanting to ask you. You know that IOU, the one we found in the deed box?
Yes.
Well, I know I probably shouldn't ask you this, and it's none of my business, but was it Felix?
What do you mean?
The IOU. Was it signed by Felix?
I think your friends have arrived, haven't they?
Guy, Felix and I were talking about you this morning. We wondered if you'd like to come and spend the weekend with us. I mean, we could drive down to the coast, or we might even go...
No, thank you, Paula. No, it's really very kind of you both, and I do appreciate it. No, thank you. I do appreciate it, but I've been thinking of going down to the cottage for 3 or 4 weeks. I've still got an awful lot of work to do on the book, and I simply can't get down to it in the moment.
I'm not surprised, old boy.
Have you still got that cottage, Guy? I thought you'd given it up.
No, we did think about it.
Because I can never understand why you didn't spend more time down there. You always said you liked Lenton.
Well, unfortunately, Melissa hated it. In the end, it was all I could do to get her down there for weekends.
Another gin and tonic.
Oh, thank you, Ducky.
And a whiskey for me, old boy.
Right.
Well, if I were in your shoes, I'd certainly move down to Linton. Only to get away from that Carter character. My God, he's a persistent type, if you like.
What was that, Felix?
Carter, the Scotland Yard type. Do you realise the confounded fellow spent over an hour with us this morning?
Oh, don't exaggerate, Felix.
Well, 40 minutes anyway, oh dear.
I suppose my name wasn't mentioned by any chance.
Funnily enough, it wasn't Guy. Well, only indirectly. No, it was old Don he was particularly interested in.
Me?
Yes.
Why me?
Well, it was all mixed up with what he called the time element, old boy. How long it took you to take Carol home, what time we dropped Melissa.
Carol? Carol who?
Carol Stewart, the actress. She was at the party. She got tiddly as usual and started to do that corny old act of hers. In the end, she was such a damn nuisance, I had to take her home.
Actually, the poor darling was frightfully sick.
Oh, but she always is, darling. She makes a thing of it. First of all, she drinks too much. Then she does that terrible act. And finally, she insists upon the host. Oh, it must be the host, old boy, driving her home. I felt sorry for you, me old dear, having to turn out like that.
Well, it was my own fault. I asked for it, really. I should never have invited her in the first place. Now, what I can't get over is why Carter should be so interested in me.
Well, Don, we know that Melissa left Paula and Felix at about 8:15. And where she went to after that or what happened to her, we don't know. And it was about 3 hours after that they found her in the park.
So?
So, obviously, she must have been murdered between 8:15 and about 11:30.
Yes, but that still doesn't explain why he was interested in me. After all, I was here all night. The party started at 8 o'clock. It didn't finish until after midnight.
But were you here all night, Don?
Well, yes, of course I was. Well, except for the time when I was taking Carol. Oh, my God, now I get the point. Now I see why the inspector was interested. Chap throws a party, then suddenly disappears in the middle of it. Look, I hope to goodness you explained about Carol. I mean, I hope you told him exactly what happened.
Now, don't worry, Don. We told him. We explained the whole situation, didn't we, dear?
Yes, of course. In any case, it's 100 to 1 you'll have a word with Carol anyway.
How long were you away, Don?
Oh, about 20 minutes, half an hour at the outside. She's got a flat near Baker Street. I simply dumped her on the doorstep. I didn't even bother to go inside.
I'll bet you were invited.
Oh, yes, I was invited, all right.
Of course you were, me old dear. That's what she was after, you know. That's what she really wanted. You hooping it up with her while the party went for a birthday.
I think you're very unkind, Felix.
It's true, me old dear, and you know it.
Was Melissa a friend of hers?
Yes, they were quite good friends. I'm surprised you never met her, Guy.
Well, as a matter of fact, I think I did once, about a year ago. We went to some cocktail party or another, and she arrived late, carrying a Siamese cat.
That's our Carol.
Look, Felix, this detective, what's his name, Carter, did he ask you any other questions about me?
No, only what I've told you, old boy.
Oh, now, for heaven's sake, don't get the wrong impression, Don. I mean, he was only interested in you because you were away from the party for a little while, that's all. I mean, he asked you enough questions about that phone call.
In God's, he certainly did.
What phone call was that, Felix?
The one I met you, old boy. Couldn't get through.
I don't know why you couldn't get through. I was in the flat all the evening.
Well, perhaps your phone was out of order. Don's was.
No, it wasn't out of order because Melissa got through.
Well, perhaps I dialed the wrong number. Frightfully difficult to see anywhere. I say, these are jolly tasty, Don.
What do you mean it was frightfully difficult to see, Felix? Didn't you telephone from here?
No, I told you, old boy. Don's phone was out of order, so I popped out to a box.
This was while I was taking Carol home.
Yeah, that's right, me old dear. Oh, now look, there's no mystery about this telephone call. If you were in the flat and the phone didn't ring, then obviously I dialed the wrong number.
Did you tell Carter that you didn't phone from here?
Tell him? Oh, good God, what do you think he was questioning me about? I even had to describe the bloody phone box, didn't I, Paula?
Excuse me.
Miss Stewart, sir.
Why, Carol, hello.
Don, I'm sorry I've interrupted a party.
No, of course not. We're delighted to see you. You know everybody, don't you? There's
Hello.
Paula and Felix.
Yes,
Carol,
of
nice
course.
to see you again.
Felix, darling.
And Guy Foster. I think you have met once before.
Yes, how are you? I was terribly shocked when I heard about Melissa.
I think we all were, Carol.
Have the police any idea who did it?
I honestly can't tell you. The man called Carter is in charge of the case.
Yes, I met him. He came to see me this morning.
Oh, I expect he asked you a lot of pointless questions, Ducky.
Oh, he asked a lot of questions, certainly.
I'll bet he wanted to know how long old Don was with you the other night.
Yes, amongst other things.
Oh, what do you mean, amongst other things?
Well, he wanted to know about Melissa, how long I'd known her, whether we were very good friends or not.
Oh, I see. Well, let me get you a drink.
No, Don, I won't. I'm on my way to the theatre and there's somebody waiting for me downstairs. I just wanted a word with you, that's all, but I'll telephone you tomorrow.
All right, Carol.
I'm just organising a little charity do, and I wanted Don to help me out if he would. But don't worry, darling. I'll telephone you tomorrow and tell you all about it then, and then you can wriggle out of it. Bye, Paula. Felix.
Good night, Carol. Oh, well, I'll come and see you downstairs. Help yourself to drinks, everyone.
Well,
Look, Carol, what happened this morning? What else did the inspector ask you?
Well, that's what I want to talk to you about.
Yes, I realise that. I only hope to goodness you told him the truth, Carol.
Well, of course I told him the truth.
Well, I'm sorry, but apparently he also questioned Felix about me. He wanted to know how long I was away from the party and what exactly happened.
He questioned Felix about you?
Yes. Why?
Well, he questioned me about Felix. He wasn't the least bit interested in you, Don.
He questioned you about Felix?
Yes, he wanted to know if he'd ever tried to borrow any money from me.
And what did you tell him?
Well, I told him he had. He tried to borrow £500 last year. Unsuccessfully, I might add.
Yes, go on. What else did he ask you?
Well, he also wanted to know if Felix had tried to make a telephone call during the party. I said I couldn't be sure, but I didn't think he had.
Yes, he made one later from a phone box. That was while I was seeing you home. Apparently my phone was out of order.
Well, it couldn't have been out of order for very long.
No?
Well, after you dropped me the other night, I felt a little bit guilty. I realized I'd behaved rather badly and probably spoiled your whole evening for you, so I telephoned to apologize. Well, some woman answered the phone. I don't know who it was. I could hear the party was going on in the background, and you hadn't returned, so I rang off.
But you got through all right?
Yes, no trouble at all.
Did you tell the inspector about this?
No, there was no point. It had anything to do with Felix, and that's all he was interested in. Look, Don, I must run. I'm going to be late.
Yes, all right, Carol. Look, I'll give you a ring sometime tomorrow.
sure you won't have another drink, old boy?
Yes, I'm quite sure, Felix, thank you.
Oh, Don, we were worried about you. What have you been doing? Telling her the story of your life?
Well, you know Carol when she gets started. Look, Guy, you'll stop and have some dinner with us, will you?
Oh, no, I won't, thank you very much, Charlie.
Come along, me old dear.
No, I really won't this evening, if you'll forgive me.
Well, at least a drink. One for the road.
Well, yes.
Good. One whiskey and soda coming up.
Hello, what do you want? Hello?
Is that you, Guy?
What? Who is this?
Guy, this is Melissa.
Melissa?
Yes, darling. Now listen. I've got to see you. It's important.
Melissa?
You mustn't say anything to anyone about
Melissa,
this,
where are you? Melissa, where the hell are you?
Guy, did you hear what I said?
Yes, Melissa, I heard you, but where are you? Where are you speaking from?
I'm at the cottage at Lenton. Get down here as soon as you can.
A cottage?
Please, Guy. Please.
Come on, you
Yeah, you okay?
Yes, I am okay, thank you. What time is it?
Oh, it's about 6 o'clock. Sorry if I spoiled your kip, mate.
Melissa?